Why do I not have any image? There we go. Hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be. It's time for the weekly Microsoft Flight Simulator community fly-in. I do these occasionally. I don't normally do them every week, but last week and this week. And I need to get the Twitch. Where is the Twitch screen? Pardon me a minute while I get a couple of things done here. Fuel is topped up. Yeah. We are in Brazil, in a place called Guyana. And you might know that name from, if you're an older person like myself, the whole Jim Jones thing. Yeah. Not exactly a wonderful situation there. Do not want to interrupt that guy's taxi out. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Friday. TGIF and all that. Hey, sorry for the last couple of days if I've been a real Debbie Downer, Guinea Downer. I'm really sorry about that. The simulator, if you've seen any of my latest live streams, just the problems I've been having, the frustration with losing all your reputation. And again, I know it's just a game and stuff is going to happen, and don't take it so seriously. But at the same time, it's very frustrating. So, two sides of that coin. So yeah, I've been off my game because of all the problems I've been encountering. But today's earlier flight from Colorado Springs over to Salida, it was nice and nothing went wrong. If anything went wrong, it was because of me, mostly. And I was flying this, transporting one of these, and so I just decided to spawn in with this one. I'd really like to use the Archer Midnight, but I can't figure out a way to keep the thing refueled. You can probably change in here. Yeah. Probably just change on the fly. Start out with the Archer, and then once I start running out of fuel, I can always slew too, come down and Really?
Traffic. 7 o'clock. Same altitude. Less than 1 mile. Traffic. 12 o'clock. Same altitude. Less than 1 mile.
You should be staying put. Could be a little bit of wind. Yeah, we got 2 knots. Mojo Rising is always here. I see him a lot.
Traffic. 3 o'clock. Same altitude. Less than 1 mile.
The browser. Whoops, I don't got the audio right. Twitch.
And also making a return appearance, we have joining us Av Angel. Welcome back to you as well.
Hello, I don't know what time it is, but hello, I'm here, and it's apparently Friday. So
It is Friday. Well, I mean, for some of our viewers, it would be early Saturday morning. We'll get to that a little bit later, though. Now, we were talking just before we went live. The two of you have both appeared on the channel before, but never together. And it's super exciting to have you both joining as on the same panel for the first time. So it should be a great conversation today, and I hope all our viewers in the chat are going to have a good time.
I got the wrong screen up for there too.
Today it's a week.
Yeah. Well, we have a comment, Allison, for you in the chat. Elkin David says, "Hi, Allison. Was nice meeting you at FS Weekend."
It was lovely meeting you too, Elkin David.
And Edarin says, "So they're not the same person. What a relief."
You know, when I was nominated as the Community Spotlight in October, I think it was, someone actually made that comment. They're like, "Wow, you're not the same. I always thought you were the same person." I was like, "Wow, okay." No, Alice is lovely, but it's just more like, wow, there are more than one woman. More than one woman. That's not even English. There is more than one woman person. Sorry. Yes,
Exactly.
English hard. I don't speak it well.
All right. Well, folks, they are indeed two different people, and as you can see on their screen right now, we're thrilled to have.
Why is it only cutting over to the right?
Analysts on Fly-In Friday.
Traffic.
But speaking of Fly-In Friday, let's talk about our flight plan. We are continuing our discovery of World Update 19 today. We're flying from the capital of Guyana to the capital of Suriname. So Sierra Yankee Echo Charlie to Sierra Mike Zulu Oscar. And
Don't understand.
go en route as well. Exclamation mark fly in the chat will give you instructions for everything you need to do to join our.
Now it's only showing that side. Now I lost audio. Why did I lose audio? It switched. Jeez. Sorry.
Born?
Raul, I am so
Yeah.
sorry. I've never flown it. Please forgive me for butchering it.
Well, I'm sure he
Okay.
will appreciate you showcasing one of his company's aircraft live on Fly-In Friday. And if you are using Flight Sim 2020, you can be on the lookout for Allison Johnson and fly in formation with her. Avangel, you're on Flight Sim 2024 this week. And what are you flying today?
Same
I
altitude.
am flying the brand new, just released Coronado 182 Quebec. Very notable because not only was their 182 Turbo the first payware aircraft in 2020 in the marketplace, this is the first native payware aircraft in the 24 marketplace, the 182 Quebec. So, a bit of an homage to the last one.
All right, excellent. Well, I'm going to hit the fly button, the start flight button, and get spawned in. We will begin our flight here momentarily. Fly with Joe said, I've never seen so many people on one runway in my life. Well,
It's
this
very
is,
busy.
this is pretty typical for us on Fly-In Friday, Joe. I'm glad to have you joining us. For those of you who don't know, Joe is a Twitch streamer as well. In fact, we raided his channel on Tuesday after my career mode live stream. We got a comment in the chat. Demonic Dragon said, Avangel's wheels are jittery, like it's excited to be in the air.
It's just wobbling back and forth, see? So,
Hello, Demonic Dragon. How you doing?
we are at, I believe the start airport is Sierra Echo Yankee something.
Close. Sierra Yankee Echo Charlie.
There we go, close enough.
All right, I am spawned in now, looking around. Oh, another aircraft just spawned on top of mine. A much larger, the
Oh!
The Draco X
Yeah,
just
the Draco
appeared right on
X.
top of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we got a F-18 Super Hornet there as well. Lots of aircraft visible. Well, chat, we're pretty much almost at sea level here. What's my altitude on the ground? Only 10 feet off the ground is our airport elevation here.
Yeah.
Let me just get underway. Let's set our autopilot to 2,500 for cruising altitude. And let me remove my parking brake, put full throttle in. Let's get myself through all these other aircraft and get airborne. Here we go. I can see where I'm going again now. We are rolling, and thus begins Community Fly-In Friday, Guyana and Suriname edition. And I am in the air.
I still don't know why it's not centering up properly on the video. I'll work that out in a minute.
Take off.
Whee! Oh my goodness.
Less than
Oh,
1 mile.
hang on a minute. This is not working very well at all.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Should I cut away, Allison?
Less than 1
Yes,
mile.
please. Cut away.
Okay, all right. Let's watch Avangel
Why
on
is-
her takeoff roll.
Why
It's
is
very
my
busy here.
Less than 1
why is my elevator not working? Whoa, 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 whoa,
6
whoa,
o'clock.
whoa.
Same altitude.
I'm about to get jumped by a jet if you keep the camera on me. Oh, okay, there he goes. Oh, God.
Oh my lord. This thing.
I've got the
Okay.
Less than 1 mile.
This could be carnage.
Traffic.
There's got to be a way to turn off the warnings.
With Allison Johnson without you flying and
Oh my lord.
very first time with no prior learning of it.
Yes, but I checked my flight controls before I got on the runway.
6 o'clock. Same altitude.
Oh, let's do a drift.
Traffic.
Tokyo drift.
5 o'clock.
Thank God there's no multiplayer turbulence, otherwise I'd be dead right now.
Traffic.
So,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You watched the developer live stream last week. That is something they're looking to be adding back into the sim.
Plagued with problems.
Obviously, it came up in the chat during that live stream. Will it be a toggle in multiplayer mode? Obviously, for Fly-In Friday, with this many aircraft all flying together, it would be absolute carnage if wake turbulence was enabled.
Less than 1 mile.
But I was just jumped by an Airbus, so yeah, I'd be in a tree right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a comment from Phoenix in the chat. Says, really love being able to get the flight plan so easy. So are you using the import from the new web-based flight planning tool, Phoenix? Not the PLN file.
Traffic.
That's a new feature in Flight Sim 2024. Compliments of our development partners and good friends over at Working Title.
6 o'clock.
They've done a great job with that. And for the first time, we're now able to share flight plans with Xbox users, which we could not do in 2020.
Oh my lord.
So really love that.
What a comedy of errors today.
Allison, let me know.
No,
not yet.
No,
Okay.
there's something gone horribly wrong.
All right.
6 o'clock.
Well,
I'm now in the water.
1 mile. Traffic.
Chat, let me know. Is the music playing at a decent volume? Can you hear
Less
that?
than 1 mile.
Why is my elevators are working, but not working?
Traffic. 6 o'clock.
And
Low.
somewhere below me, there should be a POI for the Guyana Parliament building. Oh, there it is. I've got it in sight.
Traffic.
Right there.
5 o'clock. Same altitude.
Just
Less than 1
see
mile.
it right there is the Parliament building for Guyana. Seat of their
I'm
government.
quickly going to change aircraft because that's not working.
Nope. F's in the chat to Raoul.
Yeah, sorry, Raoul, but it won't
you're
take
watching.
off, mate.
All right, and look at all you beautiful people flying behind me and joining our group flight today. Next POI will be Providence Stadium, which again, South America being what it is, I'm gonna guess this is a football stadium, or in my part of the world we would call it soccer, but in South America they'd say football for sure.
I definitely had flaps, Demonic Dragon. I checked that they were down.
I wish he would not put on the music. It's going to cause copyright problems for everybody else who's live streaming.
Oh, you know,
He won't listen, and he refuses to, whatever.
I was gonna say, it does look like cricket, doesn't it?
It is popular down there.
I didn't know that. I sort of knew cricket was popular in the UK and then like India,
is
Pakistan,
absolutely
South
popular.
Africa. Yeah, I didn't really realize it was popular in South America too.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay, well, yeah, no, I do think that probably is a cricket stadium, isn't it? Ah, we got Sky Command in the chat. Says all caps Allison. It's a heart emoji.
Hello, Mr. Wholesome. How are you doing?
Shout out to Sky Command. You can check out his Twitch channel as well.
O'clock. Low. Less.
Rod says it is cricket. Okay, well, there we go. Made an incorrect assumption thinking that would be football.
Traffic. 8 o'clock. Low. Less than.
Okay.
It says wholesome. I must know a different Sky Command.
1 o'clock. Less than 1 mile.
By the way, I'm absolutely loving, I'll just go back to my POV for a second. I'm loving that my Tobii eye tracker is working once again in Flight Sim 2024. This is my #1 favorite Flight Sim peripheral. Obviously, you want a good set of flight controls. Myself, I'm using the Thrustmaster Warthog HOTAS. But other than that, not counting like things I need to control the plane, the Tobii eye tracker really enhances the immersion. Just being able to look around just with head and eye movements.
So, question for you, actually, as a long-time head tracking user, and I'm using, by the way, the Grass Monkey Simulations puck. Fantastic, really good option there if you were looking for something.
Yeah.
But, so I have to little plug out there for them. But in your case, you're using Tobii, right? Now, I originally for years and years used the hat switch on my controls to look around. Everything was fantastic. I loved it.
Oh,
I then got this and I've fallen in love with head tracking. But I like to look at other things like my other monitors, like my iPad, other controls.
Yeah.
Does that interfere with using eye tracking? Like, you as an eye tracking user, what puts me off is that I want to look at other things that aren't in the sim. Is it going to make my screen pop around? Or...
So it does, but there's a workaround. So like, okay, right now, just a little bit behind the scenes magic here. So right now I'm looking straight ahead at my Garmin flight avionics display. If I want to read the Twitch chat, I have that open.
what's it doing now?
So right now I'm looking at my second screen to read the Twitch chat and notice how my point of view like looks to the right or to the left, sorry. However, there is a button that you can enable a keybind that you can toggle on or off the head tracker.
To freeze it. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I just literally can toggle off the button on the right side of my headset, and it's, you know, it's off, but same thing. Useful to know, though, because that's one thing that always kind of made me consider eye tracking.
Yeah.
Or not consider it, sorry, is that. But if you can work around it, that's awesome.
Now, you can also disable the eye tracking in the Tobii, so it can be just a head tracker or just an eye tracker. I use both. So here's me. I'll keep my head perfectly still, and I'll only use pupil movements. So let me just look at the top right corner of my monitor. Watch this. I'm just gonna look at there with a completely still head, only using eye movements. And look at that. Look how it follows my gaze. And then now let's look at the bottom right. See, I think that's really cool.
That is super cool.
It's very intuitive and natural. Like, it does not feel abnormal. It took me about like 5 minutes to get used to it.
It does, doesn't it? Any kind of like tracking system, once you kind of find that vibe, so people think, oh, I have to look a whole 90 degrees to look left. Well, no, I look at my bezel, my monitor, essentially, with how much it's accelerated, and you get used to less movement to get more out of it, and feels right. So I think it's nice, but yeah, I think the Xbox folks could definitely do with having some options for themselves.
Yeah.
It's one thing we can hope they'll get at some point. But I think it'll be something like eye tracking will be most likely the option given the tech with Xboxes.
Yeah.
Oh, Alison's made it in the air, have we?
I have seen on Reddit, there are people have made their own hacked together head tracker for Xbox. What they use is a wireless infrared pointing device, like a mouse that is Xbox compatible. And then they make a headband, and then they have the mouse pointed, like attached to their headband, pointed at their television, and it works. It works. It's a very ghetto solution, but I love it. I love that ingenuity.
You can use your phone and get a head tracker, and you can use your iPhone.
All right, Allison, maybe you can just give a shout out to some of the pilots on Flight Sim 2020 who are flying along with you.
So there's Echo Charlie 1, Demonic Dragon, Fireflyer 84. Oh my god, and I've got to go behind me now, haven't I? Because I've changed my cameras because of Facecam. Dr. Turtles, Death Angel, ZA, Kazaki Flyer, Englewood, and Mia Scully in the Jaguar. And there's Parch Boot and S-Man and Power Creep and Gaspoon.
All right, excellent. DLB Space says, when is the A350 releasing on Xbox? You'll have to ask the developer, I&I Builds, to answer that question. Microsoft does not control when products get released. That's the developers that flag their product is ready for release, and when they submit it and say that it's ready, it'll be released either on the next Monday or next Thursday, which are the two release windows every week. What am I flying? Asks Fly with Joe. I am flying the Cub Crafters NX Cub, a tricycle variant carbon cub, one of my favorite aircraft in the sim.
It is a good one. Did you ever get a chance to try the Got Friends mod with nitrous?
I did not, but that sounds amazing.
It is, yeah. They have a version of it which they brought out just before the official one was dropped in, but it does actually have nitrous available as a boost option, and it is ridiculous. You'd love it.
That sounds like something that Mike Patey would do in the Draco.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which also, incidentally, developed by Got Friends.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If it's crazy and in the bush, Got Friends will probably make it, or have made it, or will do it. I'm not sponsored.
We're going to fall out of the sky any moment.
No,
I love the little car, the latest little buggy thing.
Yes, cross-cart.
Cross-cart. Oh, it's amazing.
How do you refuel with this thing?
You know, obviously within the community, there's a lot of airline sim
There he is.
aficionados, so they will love developers like obviously PMDG, I&I builds, Phoenix, and so on are immensely popular in the community. I think the three of us have something in common, that we're all GA flyers as our personal preference. So certainly someone like Got Friends, they make planes that are tailored to our preferences. I know for sure.
Speaking of which, hello to Microde in the chat. One of the developers.
Oh, it's Microde here.
Hey, Microde.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And I say thank you for sending me the track cart. Thank you.
Yeah, that buggy, if you've not seen it yet, is wild. In 2024, where you can get out and run around on foot, vehicles are actually kick ass. They really do, and it's. I've never driven anything quite so fun. It's ridiculous. I actually took it up to Arizona to Tusayan, which has been very heavily modeled because, of course, that's where they did the preview event. So the whole town's there, the streets and everything, and all the trails around it are really well rendered. So you can go driving around that whole area and the thing. It's absolutely tons of fun.
Oh, and speaking of GA developers who we love, we have Raul is also in the chat from FS Reborn.
Hello.
Hey, Raul! I did try your other one. I couldn't take off in it.
The sling.
The sting, yeah, I couldn't get it up.
What were you doing? Like, what were you doing wrong? I don't understand.
Nothing. I've literally jumped into this plane and the elevators. I mean, it all worked, just wouldn't take off.
Did you have the control locks on?
No, because they were all
You
moving.
sure?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. You're moving.
Definitely.
Did you give it motion notion?
Yeah,
Weird.
Wow.
gave it lots
I
of
don't know.
beans.
It magically escapes me.
Wow.
All right, just polling the chat for a sec. How is everyone enjoying World Update 19 so far? I know for our Brazilian fans out there, this is the #1 request we've been getting for, I want to say, more than 3 years now. We could not post anything on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, nothing. We could not post anything without getting a whole dozens of responses saying Brazil World Update when every single time, and this went on for 3 years. So I hope everyone's enjoying it. I hope it was worth the wait. We know it obviously took a long time to get into your hands, but it's out now, and particularly for our Brazilian fans who've been very patient for it, we do hope you're enjoying that. But let us know in the chat how you're enjoying it.
Surly Dev, I'm in the FS Reborn Ultralight Sirius.
So that's a good question someone just brought up in the chat. It was
Oh, it blew out the flight plan?
BlaserCon 2201, I think? Yes, BlaserCon.
No, really?
Anyway, you know who you are. Asia next, please. Well, what areas would people like to see, actually? That's a good question. Because we've done quite a few regions. What would people want to see that hasn't yet been done? My vote. Oh, go on. Go on,
No,
you first.
you answer first, and I'll give
Okay.
you my answer.
My answer is going to be Sub-Saharan Africa.
That was mine too. I just said Africa in general, but sub-Saharan.
That's just lovely.
Africa would be fun.
Way off track.
Africa.
Because-
Asia definitely, but
Yeah.
Africa.
Okay, so I think we need to turn around and go this way.
If they-
Original autopilot.
Yeah,
It
but
figures.
before we move on too much, just want to give a shout out to London Controller. Nice to see you, Jamie. Welcome in.
Jamie, hello!
Yeah.
Long time no see.
So on the subject of Africa, obviously, I think Asia has also been underserved by World Updates. Certainly the very first one ever that we released was for Japan. World Update 1 was Japan. And then we haven't been back to Asia since, other than like Oceania, like Southeast Asia. We touched on a little bit, but not like mainland Asia. So I would like to see more of that, but Africa we have not touched at all. We've done obviously North America, we've done Europe a lot, we've done Australia, New Zealand, Oceania, we've done the Caribbean. Now most recently we have done South America. We've even done Antarctica. But the one continent out of 7 that we have not touched at all has been Africa. So I personally would love to see that region get some more attention. As York has said many times over, it's not that we neglect these regions. It's not that we don't care about these regions. We absolutely do. The limiting factor that determines when and where we release world updates is the availability of GIS Geographic Information Services terrain data.
Yeah, as someone mentioned, China will be tricky thanks to its leadership politically. That's understandable. Yeah, same goes for quite a lot of countries, unfortunately. And Africa is underserved, I think. Whilst there's a lot of access, there's also a lack of just data in some cases. Large parts of Asia will be the same way. Like, I'd love to see Mongolia and China get major updates, but again, data.
Yeah.
Antarctica is going to be one of the easiest ones because there is so much data available for Antarctica. I wiggle my head around moving the tracking camera, which I do apologize for. But I think in terms of areas we have actually got data for, I'd like to see Central America because we've done North, we've done South. Give us Mexico, give us, Panama, give us Costa Rica, give us those areas because I think we could see some really awesome flying in that region if we got more of that. And there is definitely data for those areas. But it does come down to what's available for them when they have it. And I love what we get with the updates because I haven't flown in South America as much and I'm doing so more now, which is awesome. But again, also the areas around the Mediterranean as well. So Italy, Malta, Cyprus, those areas could be fantastic. And we haven't done anything for Italy. We did update. Oh no, we did not.
No, we have done both Italy and Malta.
Was it all of Italy?
And Vatican City. Yeah, we're pretty
on the world tour.
Italy was a really good update.
Yeah. By the way, Jamie says we'll have to join you guys for a stream soon on a Friday. Well, we'd love to have you, London Controller. You know how to reach out. You know how to find us.
That river is red.
Anytime, any Friday.
Or that waterway, or that's a road and it's red. That's the way they should make airstrips look.
Stunning natural scenery.
They should all be colored so we can spot them easier.
We always
all be red and orange
on this channel. We don't discuss contentious political issues. We're here to celebrate our planet, the natural beauty of our world. And we're here to talk about all the great things that humanity does, no matter where people are from. So we want to lift everyone up, not put anyone down. And you're absolutely right, Super Typhon. Venezuela does have some fantastic, beautiful scenery. Angel Falls, in particular, would be a lovely place to visit on a Community Fly-In Friday on a future date.
It would.
That's the thing I love about the sim in general, and I take this all the way back to my FSX days because I'm old, and I remember flying, and I used an add-on at the time, if anyone remembers this one, called FS Economy, which was a little app that tied to a website, and you could basically
did it again.
Jobs and buy planes and
got my heading wrong.
The world taking jobs, and I would use the jobs to take me to new places. I wouldn't just fly my little network. And I remember flying in, I think it was my A26 at the time, and I flew around the world with that thing taking jobs. But I went through Russia, I went through Mongolia, China, Japan. I went down through the Philippines and Indonesia. I got down to Australia. I flew across the South Pacific. I came up South America, up through Central America. And I got to see places I'd never gone before and I'd never experienced. And it was amazing even then in FSX. And FSX looked, compared to now,
it was a product of its time.
It was a product of its time.
We'll say it that way. Yeah.
It was actually, no, it was a product of the wrong time, because developmentally, when they first produced
it was brilliant though.
There was a big fork in the road in computing, and that fork was huge single core processing, or multi-core. Microsoft whoopsied and chose to gamble on large single core when they made FSX, which is why it took till today essentially to have a computer that can run it well, because it just the architecture was built wrong for what the computers did. And
isn't that funny?
It is, and it was, and I loved it at the Orbx scenery and all those other wonderful things, and the FTX Global, all those amazing add-ons and features. It made what was an incredibly good, awesome sim so much better. But even then, comparing that to what we have now, it is breathtaking. The fact I can look out the window here and see photoreal scenery covered in actual autogen that's realistically placed. There's photometry, there's beautiful lighting, dynamic shading, real materials. I never thought I would enjoy a sim like this when I started simming. Because this is so much closer to the real thing in terms of how it looks. The lighting in 24, especially versus even 20. And this, texture-wise, not a lot of difference 2020, 2024. But to me, the lighting and the brightness of 24 is the biggest shift, because flying in real life, you're wearing sunglasses a lot because the sun's really bright when you're further up. And this bleaches out the world that same way that being up in the air feels like. And it feels that kind of desaturated look that just there's something about it. But I'll stop preaching and talking about flying stuff.
Oh, no, it's all good.
I've been rambling
just
and
want to
making
address a few
people
comments
realize
from
how
the
old I
chat.
am.
Code Nuts says, I love this channel. It is so relaxing. Well, I love hearing that feedback, Code Nuts. One of the things we always try to do here on Flying Friday is to just be a very relaxed, chill, just a nice time hanging out with all our friends from the Flight Sim community. For those of us who are ending our work week on Friday or beginning our weekends, we hope this is just a great way to end your week, kick off your weekend, just having a relaxed, chill, nice way to unwind after a long day or a long work week, and just spend some time with a bunch of other people from the Flight Sim community and just unwind. So I'd love to hear that feedback. I saw another question in the chat from Steady Flow asked, what GPUs are the hosts using? So let me just go to my screen right now. I am using a RTX 3080 Ti. I'm running at 1440p resolution with all the graphics turned to ultra, as high as they go. And if you look, I have the NVIDIA frame rate monitor turned on in the top right corner of my screen. I'm currently getting around 55 to 60 frames per second, depending on what's on the screen right now. So it runs very well on a RTX 3080 Ti. Allison, I think you said you have a 4090?
I've got a 4090 and I'm just about rolling out about 97, 98 frames per second.
Yeah, and you're on an ultra wide screen.
I'm on ultra,
well.
38-inch ultra wide monitor, so that's really, really good.
How do I turn that tool on? Is it in the sim settings somewhere?
It's in the NVIDIA appliation. There is one in the sim as well, performance monitor. I just use the one from the NVIDIA driver, the NVIDIA app. Okay.
I can't tell you my FPS, but I can tell you my GPU. I'm running a 4070 Ti Super.
Okay.
Nice.
And, obviously it looks pretty smooth and it's running well for you as well.
This is ultra, by the way. I'm on full ultra settings for this, and it's running nicely, actually. I was on a 3070 Ti. I did find I was struggling with my settings on that card. And I have 64 gigs of RAM, by the way, and a Ryzen 9 5900X. But GPU is a big thing, and it does matter. It's the architecture, I think, more than necessarily the grunt of the 4 series, so it does help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Turtles brings a good point here. The dev mode monitor, the performance monitor that you can enable in developer mode, it's nice because it'll tell you if it's your CPU or your GPU holding your performance back. That's right, of course, it's a combination of the two. You could have a 5090 GPU, but if you're running a CPU that's 4 or 5 years old, you're going to get limited. That'll be your limiting factor would be your CPU. So that might tell you what piece of hardware you should upgrade next. Likewise, you might have a blazing fast CPU, but if you're using a GPU that's 4 or 5 years old, that'll be what's holding you back. So it is an overall combination of your entire system that determines performance.
And Microde, yes, it is. It's the brand new 182 Quebec.
I shall have to pop that into my hangar tomorrow.
Honestly, I like
So if you're just tuning in, I'm doing the community fly-in, Microsoft community fly-in, and what you're hearing is the
bring their other stuff
the hosts of the fly-in over on the official Microsoft Twitch channel.
We've had some others that are ports, and they work great, of course, amazingly. But this is the first full-on native payware.
So built from the ground up with the 2024
424.
SDK.
Yeah. Of course, it does, and this is a cool thing if you keep this on the screen. This is our first one also using the new tablet functions, because unlike Coronado Planes in the past had a tablet for some of their options, right?
Yep.
Well, we knew that when they developed this, and this is what Jorgen and the guys were saying, was that developers now will be able to use the SDK for the tablet to basically integrate their own choice of apps into that and make their own apps within it. So if you go to the More Apps page in the Coronado, there is now a Coronado application here. I can click on that, and it has the options for the GNS 530-430, which are the working title ones with the Sobo. And we have the options for the TDS or the PMS to switch out at your choice. So you can basically, developers will be able to make their own options apps within 24 native aircraft to support these functions through the tablet. So they can link back and forth to the aircraft, different start states, different options for the panels, all those things they'd have their own normal stuff for. They can do that as well, but now you can integrate it into this tablet function, whether you have that display in the cockpit somewhere or just a pop-up. That's now part of the system, which is really cool to see finally.
Yeah, excellent.
All right. I feel like we're living in a crazy future where in the simulator we have a virtual tablet And then within the virtual tablet, we have a virtual app in the tablet.
Yeah.
We're through the looking glass here on this one.
People could literally develop apps just for the in-game tablet. Just separate apps. Top of descent calculators, other performance calculators. They could make navigation tools. They could even make
the E6B. That'd be interesting.
Apps. There's endless possibilities people could create for us.
All right, Allison and Avangel. We're gonna do a random number here.
How the hell I've forgotten how to use this old autopilot now to make it go down.
In alphabetical order. So Allison, you can go first. Choose a number between 1 and 100.
Vertical speed.
66.
Okay, and Avangel, you do the same.
Down.
I will pick 26.
Avangel, you were closest.
Oh.
The number was 37. And Newtonius, yes, Newtonius knows why I picked 30.
Okay, so you pressed the Alt button several times.
If you ask someone to pick a random number between 1 and 100, you're going to get different numbers, but if you plot them all on a graph, the one you will see the most people respond is 37. Because technically any number between 1 and 100 is equally random. But certain numbers feel, to our stupid primitive monkey brains, feel more random. So for example, if I said to pick a random number between 1 and 100 and you picked 100, there's a 1 in 100 chance, 1% chance that would come up. It's equally random to any other number, but it doesn't feel random, right? Or if you picked 50, that also doesn't feel random. So 37 is the number that feels the most random because it's an odd number, it's a prime number. So all these things just make it feel more random, even though any number between 1 and 100 has an equally 1% chance of being selected.
Well, I'm glad I'm so predictable.
Yeah.
I thought there was something. So, has one of us won or lost something?
Yes. Well,
is it?
Have you won or lost is a good way of explaining it.
Well, we both lost.
Avangel, you are the person who has been selected based on your random choice. Okay. You were closest to 37. So, you're on the hot seat.
Oh, goody.
Chat, you know what to do. Chat, where are you from?
Let's take a look at this. We have Michigan, we have Tyler, Texas, we have New Delhi, we have Ontario, Germany, Switzerland, Calgary, Newcastle, Finland, Alberta, Canada. We have, oh god, it's going fast. We have Scotland, Sweden, Wisconsin, Netherlands, Florida, Canada, Calgary, Norway, Netherlands, Liechtenstein. We have Germany, Brazil, Kent, Austin, Texas, Vancouver, Canada, Netherlands, Rotterdam. We have South Carolina, we have Scotland, Hamilton, Ontario, we have Pennsylvania, Seattle, Washington, England, Florida, Denmark, Arizona, Fort Owen, California. We have South Africa, Germany, San Francisco, Colorado. Core of the Earth, that's a good one. I like that one. Home counties, I'm so sorry. We have San Francisco, San Francisco, Colorado. I'm very confused. St. Lucia, Colorado. We have. Is that San Francisco by way of Colorado, or did you move San Francisco to Colorado?
That's a joke. I'll explain that joke in a second.
Yeah, that's from the developer update. They said they're going to release a world update for San Francisco, Colorado.
Big round of applause.
So they're doing San Francisco and Colorado at some point.
Locations. So the San Francisco, Colorado thing, during last week's developer live stream, Jorg showed us an upcoming city update.
City update.
Microsoft Flight Simulator. And on one of the slides, we showed there was new scenery for Denver, and another one there was new scenery for San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And I think the text got a little bit cross-wired, and the slide said San Francisco, Colorado instead of San Francisco, California.
I see. Is this a new meme like Double Jetways?
It is a new meme. Excellent. I won't say Double Jet. It's a new meme like the Melbourne monolith. Anyone remember that one?
There we go. Yes, I do.
Or Kiribati, the home of every flight simulator. Also, I saw Dr. Turtles was in the chat from Vancouver, Canada. Shout out my neighbor in Lower Mainland, British Columbia, Dr. Turtles.
BC, the best province.
Yeah, beautiful British Columbia. And well, let's talk about our panel. Obviously, both of you speak with British accents. So, Alison, where are you from?
I'm Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of the United Kingdom.
Okay, and Avangel, what about you?
Sheffield, South Yorkshire.
There you go.
Yes.
Phoenix says Alberta is the best. Well, Phoenix, let me tell you. I lived in Alberta for 20 years. I've lived in Vancouver for 3 years. I've got some bad news, my friend. I can say this with some degree of confidence and life experience. Vancouver has extremely expensive housing, and the reason housing is so expensive is because it's such a highly desirable place to live. And so
the jobs are good there, especially tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm originally from Lancashire, and I have been in Yorkshire now for about 17, 18 years. So it's a very similar position to CD, in that I moved, and I have discovered that this too is the superior county. I don't care if you hate me for that. It's just better. So, like, he prefers BC, same thing applies.
Stuxus says Vancouver, Munich of Canada. Okay.
I would very much like to see
Explain that joke.
and visit the UK someday.
So
That would be lovely.
is expensive. It's the capital of Bavaria, obviously, so it's a very expensive place to live. And lot of the kind of yuppie types, of course, want to live there, and it's very metropolitan. And they try to not be quite as Bavarian as everywhere else, but they are still Bavarian, unfortunately. But yes, so it's very much the very, very overpriced. Lots of tech people live there. Lots of the tech bros, etc. It's like the southern version of Hamburg.
Okay, yeah, I will vouch then, yes. Based on that explanation, Vancouver is indeed the Munich of Canada. Yeah.
Well, there are more seaplanes in Vancouver than there are in Munich, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, if you're into plane spotting, check out Vancouver Harbor. There are beavers and otters and twin otters all on floats taking off, like, if you just stand by the waterfront in downtown Vancouver by Cole Harbor, you can watch seaplanes taking off pretty much every 15 minutes. It's a great spot.
God, I'd love to.
Great spot for plane spotting. Yeah. My sister says there's a lot of bad people in Vancouver. Nah, man, there's no more bad people in Vancouver than there are anywhere else. This is a great place to live. Like I said, the reason housing is so expensive in Vancouver is because it is a very highly desirable city. If you look at surveys, global surveys on most livable cities, Vancouver is almost always at or near the top of the list. And really the only negative that it has going for it is the high cost of housing. And that is because that's a direct function of its desirability and that so many people want to live here.
I do know somebody who's a cop in Surrey.
Yeah.
That's not so fantastic for what they say. But,
Surrey, though, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
You don't talk about Surrey. Thought so. Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not technically in Vancouver. I live in Coquitlam, which is one of the nearby communities. And my balcony, I look across the Fraser River. I have a beautiful view of downtown Surrey from my balcony.
Lots of
no, that wasn't sarcasm. It really is a beautiful view.
Oh yes, that's the fun point. Someone pointed to remove static aircraft on consoles. Now I did have a little mini rant in a recent video about the static aircraft in the sim. After spawning in at Bella Coola in British Columbia with an A380 on top of me, which felt highly inappropriate for such a small airport. That's one thing I definitely would like to see change or improve is the aircraft selection at airports and what gets placed where, because we tend to get a lot of military at civilian airports now. And it's okay, it's a criticism, but it's also my desire would be to see that be one of the improvements. I love this sim, I think it's fantastic. But there are definitely things that can change. That's my one I would pick in this case.
We got a comment here in the chat. Modding Unlimited says, that's humorous. MSFS official Twitch channel is not flying Flight Sim 2024. What does that say about 2024? I'll tell you what it says. It says that we support our entire community, and no matter which version of the sim you choose to fly, whether you're on 2020 or 2024, we have one of our panel members is on the same version. Av Angel, as you can see on your screen right now, is on Flight Sim 2024. I myself, I'll just switch over to my point of view. I am also on Flight Sim 2024. However, for the pilots who want to remain on 2020, we also recognize and validate you, and we want to make sure you have a panel member as well. So we have Allison, I'll switch back to her point of view, is on 2020. So we're very inclusive here on this channel. So no matter which version of the sim that you want to enjoy yourself, you're welcome to join us on the channel here and fly along with members of our guest panel.
Yep, I'm personally, 2024 works great for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Performance is great, looks great, works great, but I do know that some people have had some problems. But it's getting better. Sim Update 1 made a massive improvement for me as a streamer, is that I can now see people flying with me.
This is the 2024.
Lonely when you couldn't see the people that were flying along with you. That's all sorted, and that's now fixed. So that's a good start. So I offered today to fly in 2020 because we always have some people in 2020. So, you know.
If she hadn't, I would have done.
Exactly.
So it's more of the, there's always, because there's community in both, at least somebody from the panel will go into 2020. And I have both installed. Now, I don't use 2020 anymore personally. Like, I am fully in 24, and I love it, actually. I think it's fantastic. And sure, there are bugs, but there were at this point in 2020 as well.
Yes.
And they get ironed out. Sim Update 1 made massive progress. Sim Update 2 is already working. It's already a thing that's basically in process and about to go to beta. So it's like, it's realistically, well, I assume it is, that's what they said, they're making massive strides, and the sim is fantastic now. Like, it was a rough start. Microsoft themselves admit that. But it's doing fantastically now. It's incredible.
So let me tell you something.
This week has been
the beta will be starting soon. Developer live stream last week. Marcial mentioned
pretty rough
that it could have,
as far as bugs,
promise, but it could have started as soon as.
Just got to let it go.
That's okay.
Got to let it go.
Obviously, we did not release it yet.
But boy,
quite there.
It can really get you down sometimes. It got me down anyway.
We went through the patch notes, what's coming in Sim Update 2. We did some editing, some proofreading, you know, fixing some spelling errors, things like that, like we do always. And I'm going to tell you this, a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge, a little bit of a sneak preview for when the beta begins. I have never had to spend so much time proofreading patch notes as I did this week for the Sim Update 2 beta patch notes. That's how huge they are. This is, I say this, not exaggeration, Sim Update 2 is by far the biggest update I've ever seen for either Flight Sim 2020 or Flight Sim 2024. And the beta for that will be starting really soon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sim Update 1 was compatible with other people, not also in the beta. Will that be the same for the next one?
I don't have that information yet, but I'll make sure before we release the beta and post the release notes, I'll make sure that question gets answered.
Cool, thank you. Because if it is, that's brilliant.
Don't forget also, the sim updates aren't just fixing bugs, right? They're also updates, because we got new stuff with Sim Update 1, and we also got updates and improvements to a lot of the aircraft that are in 24 now. My personal favorite, the Albatross, that had a whole new version of the aircraft added. It had major changes and features added to the aircraft to improve it and to add new functionality. So these sim updates do actually give us more stuff too, not just fixing things. And I mean, I can see people's perspectives. There's a lot of decisions and people need to make for themselves, but on the grand scheme of things, this is absolutely going where it needs to go. And the direction Microsoft have taken, I think, to me as a long-time simmer, someone who's been doing this for over 15 years, and somebody who has a major, let's say, financial investment in sim stuff going well, that's my job.
Yep.
I am safely in saying that 24 is the future of flight sim. It's just the truth, it is.
Yep.
And the direction Microsoft are taking is the right one now. The start was not the right direction. They've already admitted that themselves, and I'm glad that they are willing to say that, because it takes a lot of self-reflection.
Big mistake doing it in 2024 and not releasing this as 2025 and giving themselves another year.
They've taken the right direction here.
It was a big mistake.
It will never be the right answer for everybody. And this is one thing I've seen in the flight sim community in all these years, for 15 plus years. The community's never changed in how it approaches issues. For some people, Sim Update 1 was taking too long, release it sooner. And for some people, take all the time you need, we want it to be right. You know, we want it to be correct. How, you know, if they release it too soon, people will be upset it released too soon. Some people are upset it's not released soon enough.
Yep.
There'll never be a solution that pleases everyone. The best they can do is their best. And from what we saw with Sim Update 1, that was an honest, this is our best. We are making major strides to improve this simulator. And as a user and a creator, it shows me they have faith in the product and they care about the community. it shows they care about what we think and that they want to do it right. So
yeah, I want to touch on that just for 1 second. We get an interesting question from Micro in the chat. It says, hey CD, have we done a glider community flying yet? We have. Just a few weeks ago, over the holiday period, I was in New Zealand and I went gliding in real life. I flew a real life high performance glider in Omarama, which is one of the top gliding locations in the world. And we did on Fly-In Friday, we gave the viewers their choice, because we know not everyone likes gliders. It's a kind of a niche form of aviation. So if you wanted to fly gliders, that was one choice. And then if you wanted to do a powered flight along in New Zealand's South Island, that was the second option.
You can also get a powered glider now.
But now to talk about Avangel's point there. Yeah, so if you hear Jorg talk about it, like, he will be the first to admit this was not the launch that we wanted for our players and our community. But I can tell you, I can give you 100% assurance that the team is completely dedicated to getting the sim, get the bugs resolved, getting the features added, all the stuff that you've been waiting for. The team is so committed to getting that done. The timelines, again, we said Sim Update 2, we were shooting for late February. Obviously, we missed that by a few weeks. Sim Update 1, sorry, was targeted for late February. We missed it by a few weeks, came out in early March instead. That's all right. Sim Update 2 is currently targeted for April. Again, it'll determine how the beta goes. Avenger talked about the change in approach. We're doing beta tests, very thorough community beta tests with thousands of people from the community volunteering their time to help us test these builds. And, you'll hear Jorg say, we're not going to release them until we feel they're in a good technical quality state. So Sim Update 2 is tentatively targeted for release in April. No exact date in April, but sometime in April. Maybe it might be May. We don't know, but, targeted for April. Not promised, but targeted. And then Sim Update 3 is targeted for June. So in the next 3 months, we have 2 more Sim Updates that are targeted for release. Again, not a promise. We can't guarantee they will 100% be released in April and June, respectively, but that's what we're hoping to achieve. All right.
Mr. Bull Market, sorry, the 400M is not removed. No, it's right there. I flew it earlier.
We got the first touch and go airport in sight. I'm 3 miles out, so I just disabled autopilot, and I'm going to begin my descent here into Sierra Mike, November, India.
Yep, I'm on approach right now. I'm just about to turn final.
Oh, okay. Let's watch your POV first then.
Where is it? Am I approaching it too soon? Oh god, it's right there. I made a mistake. Mistakes happen. This will definitely be a touch. That's for sure.
Full send.
Oh, I intend to.
Yeah.
Deja vu. Sideways we go.
Tokyo drifting.
Yes, there's only one way to descend. And that's sideways.
Yep.
I love this swamp approach in front of us right now. That's actually kind of cool. Over the marshlands here at the approach. Give it a bit of a nudge of flaps there.
Yeah, that's a nice slip.
It was just enough. Straighten up. Over the trees. Don't want to catch a palm tree in the gear. Drop her in. Definitely a touch. This is way late. Wee boing. And we're off again.
Kiss of
it was about a kiss, that was it. It was just going to...
There we go. That counts. That's good.
All right. Allison, are you closer? I'm now 1 mile out.
I'm not. No, okay. You're close to me.
Okay, we'll go to my POV then.
Yeah, I'm trying to firewaller. Having to hop out and change planes was not to my benefit.
Monix says, I want to be able to do a version upgrade through the market from Protolux Aviation. Yes, you can go to the InSim Marketplace. Yep. You can do exactly that. You can also buy individual aircraft from the marketplace. So if you don't want the entire Aviator edition, for example, there's just individual aircraft that you want, you can also buy them separately. Of course, the best value, you get a bundle of savings if you buy the entire package, so up to you.
I will tell you something with Aviator, though, and this is just from my own calculations, it may be wrong. If you own over 20 of the local legends or famous flyers from 2020, it is not worth buying Aviator Edition.
Buy the ones you want.
If you own less than and you want them all, absolutely worth every penny. Yeah. You save enough if it's under 20 of them. Go on, CD, you got this.
Oh, pretty smooth touchdown. Little bit left of the center line. I'll say 8.5 out of 10. Oh, I forgot to hit the button.
You forgot the squeeze.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
That one.
There you
That one.
go.
There's my colleague Jane doing her best impression of a stall horn. All right, over to Allison now for your
Oh,
landing.
I'm miles away. I'm miles away. Miles away. I'm about 15 mile out.
Here's an interesting comment. Jersey Devil says, my girl's brother was a geologist in Suriname for many years. Such a beautiful country. Well, I've never been. I'm enjoying the scenery in Flight Sim 2024, though, for sure. Chat, has anyone in the chat watching today, or our panelists, Av Angel or Allison, have either of you been to Guyana or Suriname before?
I'm afraid I have not. I've never been to South America at all. I'd love to one day, but I haven't.
All country flown over by Amelia Earhart as well. She flew down and landed at Paramaribo.
One of my very good friends is actually of French Guianan descent. So, well, his grandparents, I believe, were. So, he's an American citizen now.
Yeah.
But yeah, French Guiana, which is also in this update. Just down the coast, in fact.
Okay, question. I have the Pro Deluxe for 2020, so I don't need it for 2024. Well, it depends.
Ah.
All
That's
your,
a different question.
all
I
your
got a good
deluxe,
question there.
all your deluxe and premium deluxe aircraft that you already own for 2020, those will carry forward, and you will get those for 2024, even if you have the standard edition. However, there are new aircraft in the deluxe and premium deluxe editions of 2024 that you don't own if you only have the 2020 version. So if you would like to fly any of those planes, you would need to upgrade to the deluxe or premium deluxe version on 2024.
I'd love to answer this question from BlazeIcon 201.
Yep.
Not old enough, because I'm the old lady of the channel, so I'm going to answer this one. Not old enough for the FSX era, but how were bugs treated back then when updates weren't as common?
That reaction.
An update was a bug. They
Yeah.
were features. You got one sim update. That was it. There was not even a sim update.
Yeah.
You got one expansion pack, was it called at the time? But you got one update basically to the sim, which you got on disc. Okay, it updated the version to like Game of the Year edition or something.
Yeah.
And it basically was just one update. It fixed a couple of things. It attempted to basically nod in the general direction of multi-core by letting the weather go on a separate core. That was it. Otherwise, it was the same. Everything else that was basically a bug,
Stayed a bug.
good luck. That's what you had. Now, a lot of stuff was improved or fixed, but all of that was done by the community. All of that was done by... This is why we have such a ferociously amazing third-party community. Both
Truly.
so many updates, so many fixes, so many tweaks and mods, and people creating guides on how to tweak the configs to improve the sim performance. It was all done by the community because you bought the boxed game, and there was that one basically service pack 1 or something for it, and that was
Yeah, they were only obligated to create one fix. It was in the contract. You got to release the game, and then you're allowed to do one update or 2 updates or whatever, but they limit it to how many updates.
lucky, and that was it.
And that was it. You got what you got.
Because the demo discs that came with them, again, only included demos, which don't exist now, but would include patches for certain games. Because
it's true.
you just didn't have the internet in these times to really do this stuff. So sorry, I'm being the old person now. So
No, I remember those times well myself too.
Yeah.
I just want to address a couple of comments in the chat. I asked if anyone had been to Guyana or Suriname before. We have El Alili 03. Hope I pronounced your name right. Ella Lily. There it is. Ella Lily 03 says, I went to Guyana to work with ocelots and giant anteaters as a zookeeper.
Oh,
But not been to
wonderful.
Suriname.
Wow.
And then we have a comment from Rovage 1975 says, I was born in Suriname and still go there on holiday. Now, to answer the question and augment what Avangel was just saying there, in the old days, there weren't really patches. You might get one service pack for each flight sim, and then every 2 years, you would get a new boxed version that you had to pay full price for. So Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 had 15 sim updates and 18, now 19 world updates. All of this was for free. This is an incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, thank God EA was not the one who got the contract to do the simulator.
Free from the Flight Sim development team. In the old days, say you bought Flight Sim 98, 2 years later, you would pay full price for
2000,
Flight Sim 2000.
Yep.
Then
Yep.
2 years later,
Yep.
you would pay full price yet again for Flight Sim 2002.
I had
Then
them all.
2 years after that, you would pay full price yet again for
Oh,
Flight Sim
hang on.
2004.
I have something for you here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pause my camera for a second while I go digging.
Yeah.
But I've got something for the some archaeology for the channel. So 1 second. I'll be right back. Digging is required.
Yeah. So if you played Flight Sims in the old days, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you were paying full price for a brand new boxed copy every 2 years, and that was the state of the industry at the time. So just look at how much support you got for free for Flight Sim 2020, and of course you will continue to get for Flight Sim 2020 and Flight Sim 2024 going forward. Definitely the state of the industry has changed.
And people still find a reason to cry when they get so much for free,
Mhm.
and people still find an excuse. But look what I got here.
Flight Sim 98. There, I had that exact box.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yes, boxed. And if I am very,
Well, I've got 2000 around here somewhere.
I think
2000, 2003.
my original one was a
FSX was Steam purchased. I had it at one point.
PC, my mom's first PC. Sorry, I work with Americans, so I say mom. My mother's first PC, and a bunch of games came with it. One of them was in a little envelope, was Flight Sim 98. I had a little Trust joystick that I played it with, and I loved that. But in here is what you
The
get.
cover artwork always upsold it so much
Funny enough,
that, it always looks so amazing on the cover art, and then you get into the game itself, and it was like,
Not only did the game come on that CD, DirectX also came on
Yes,
that CD.
it did.
You had
Yes,
to
yes.
install DirectX from CD before it let you install the
did.
game.
and here was the cool thing: you also got included with you. I believe there are some, if I could find them here.
some boats out there.
Got a couple of charts as well. I'm trying to find where they are though. Looks all the paperwork.
Yeah, in the book, you would get a couple of charts. There was only a couple of airports.
Did manuals and things that came included too, and I don't think I can find. I don't think they're actually where the spot is, but I know there were charts with the original release. I don't think they're in this one, but yes, you got charts and things included. Everything else, it had all your stuff on there, and this is wow, someone's receipt for Sound Blaster sound card.
Oh, crikey.
I'm not gonna keep that secret because that's not
Yeah.
mine. Someone, this is obviously a second-hand copy of this. It was actually a very close friend got it for me. They found it in an antique shop and they knew I was into simming, so they picked up the original for me. I've never actually used it because I never needed to, but it's amazing to actually have this piece of history of what our Sims were, because back in the day, this is what we had. And I think, oh no, are they in here? Yes, they are. We have charts inside the manual that came with Flight Sim 98.
Yep.
You've got actual charts.
You usually had one of those little keyboard overlays too, that you could little punch outs, and you could lay it on your keyboard.
Directionals in here. This is what we got back in the day. This is what Flight Sim was, and it's incredible to see what has become now, but to see how much it's expanded. Because back then, Flight Sim 98, you weren't going on Navigraph subscriptions. You weren't getting downloads for various charts and things. You had what you had. So this is what you got, and it's incredible to see that in so many ways. Down there, I can actually return to my controls now and not be looking at my headrest and my thing. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that little dig down memory lane
Yeah,
of
that's
Flight Sim archaeology.
Right,
So
final,
here's-
final.
Here's the question. Oh, here we go. We're already on
Finally.
else. All right. Here's a question for the chat then. What was everyone's first version of Microsoft Flight Simulator that you ever played? For me, it was Flight Sim 5.0 for DOS.
98.
I got it from my,
Oh yeah, my dad had DOS. I can't claim. Well, it was the first one I played, but I didn't own it.
and that was my first version. Avangel
Hello.
78 was your first one?
Hello, are you streaming?
Oh yeah.
Alison, what about you?
Okay.
Well,
Like and subscribe. I'm having food now.
Okay,
The original 1.0 on DOS.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. All right, look at the chat here. We got 98, FSX, 95, 20,
Jesus.
2020, 98, X, 4.0, 98, 2020. Super Time Fun says he
Sorry,
played
Raoul.
FSX in a museum. Mike Road, FS9, also known as Flight Sim 2004, A Century of Flights.
Yep.
Tox Race says FSX.
FS9, the first one with
development
virtual
version of the
cockpits.
very first release.
Wow.
FS95, FS9, Silly Dev says 2000 with a Microsoft Sidewinder force feedback joystick. I had that stick too back in the day.
Me too. I still got it.
Yeah.
Still got it. It's in
Combat
the-
Sims, yes. Microsoft Combat Sims, they were fantastic. I love
Those, I want them to come back. I want the Microsoft Combat Simulator so bad.
FSX Flight Sim 3.0, Flight Sim for Windows 95. Oh, that's
I would love to have a remake of the Pacific Combat Simulator.
95. Although a lot of the community called it that, it was called Microsoft Flight Simulator for Windows 95.
Yep.
That was the proper name of that version.
I had never touched a flight sim before, because like I said, my mother got that PC because she's an author, so she was writing, and she needed to upgrade from her word processor. This is old days stuff.
Yeah.
This is the 90s, and literally just one of included games, and I played all the other games as well, like most kids did, and I discovered this game, Flight Simulator, and it was just wild that I could fly, stop with camels and Learjets and Cessnas and go across the world in these things, and it just blew my mind. And when I said I had a little trust joystick, it had 2 buttons and left, right, forward, back. That's what you had. There was no such thing as trim, there were no throttles, there was no nothing, no force feedback. It was about the bare minimum you could get without it essentially being an arcade machine joystick. But it was enough to kind of start me down a path. Like I'm sure every single person here that's a simmer, we all had that moment of the bug bit.
Yes.
So it's just...
Yes.
You guys, a question for you two, and then we'll ask the chat the same thing. What came first, a flight sim or a real-world flight experience? What was it that got you into aviation?
My dad,
For me,
he flew when I was a little boy. He flew a
kind of sightseeing tourist flight from Carnarvon,
Piper Cherokee.
Wales, down the Menai Straits and around Anglesey and Beaumaris. It was myself, my grandmother, and my dad. And I was about 8 years old, little Love Angel, 8 years old, and it did it for me. That was the thing that got me into airplanes, and I loved them. And then when the sim came along, wham, CD.
Well, I think I've told this story on the stream before, but if this is new to either our panel members or to anyone in the viewer community watching today, let me just repeat myself. So if you haven't heard this before, I apologize, but I think it's a good story. I have no memory of this. I was too young, but my parents have told me this story many times. When I was 2 years old, my father was temporarily for work reassigned to Ottawa for 6 months. Brunswick, Canada, East Coast.
Hi. Sorry.
Oh, we got Chewy is in the chat.
Hey, Chewie.
Oh, Becca.
Hit me in the boo-boo.
Hey, Becca. And so, at 2 years old, we flew from St. John, New Brunswick to Ottawa, Ontario.
Woo.
And we had to change. There was we had to switch aircraft in Montreal. And so it's about a 2-hour flight from St. John to Montreal. And I was way too young. I have no memory of this at all. But apparently, as a small toddler at 2 years old, I cried and cried and cried. And I was inconsolable. And at first, my parents, they got the flight attendant to help figure out what was going on. They thought I might have like an inner ear thing because of the atmospheric pressure change, which is common for children. But eventually, they were able to calm me down enough and get me to articulate why I was crying so much. And what I was able to say was that I didn't want to get off the plane. I didn't understand the concept of a connecting flight, and I didn't realize we were getting off one plane and immediately getting on another one. But that was me at 2 years old, and that's when I fell in love with aircraft. As a teenager, I was very fortunate. I was very lucky to be able to earn a glider pilot's license at age 16 and a private pilot's license at age 17. My grandfather, on my father's side, served in the Royal Canadian Air Force during World War II. He dropped out of university, volunteered for aircrew duty. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you want to look at it, he was rejected for active aircrew duty because he failed the eye exam. But they trained him as a meteorologist, and he served at a RCAF British Commonwealth Air Training Base in Saint-Jean.
Cockpit, please, cockpit.
And so he was really good for this. So all the trainee air crew would train there, then they'd be sent off to Europe, be stationed in the UK, and fly combat missions over Europe. But the ones who stayed behind in Saint-Jean were all the instructor pilots. And so him being stationed in Saint-Jean for the duration of the war, he became really close friends with all the instructor pilots. And several times they would take him flying in Tiger Moths or Harvards, T6s. known as Texans for our American friends out there, but in the British Commonwealth, they were known as Harvards, which was the advanced trainer. And so my grandfather spent a lot of time riding back seat in like open cockpit Tiger Moths and Harvards. And so he loved airplanes as well from his wartime experience. And I think sort of that got passed on to my father and then to me as well. So it was my home as a kid was always filled with books about airplanes. And so I spent a lot of time immersed in those. And of course, having that one experience, my first time on a plane as little toddler, 2-year-old CD, and not, crying because I didn't want to get off the airplane. I think that cemented my love of aviation.
It's a good story.
I didn't get into flying until I, into my later years. Couldn't afford it when I was younger. Didn't have lots of money. So flight simming was my first exposure.
I've never tried to fly for real.
All of the games I had.
You see how bad I fly in the simulator after years?
So and they're not.
Think I want to do that in real life?
So learn to fly. And now I'm nearing my 60s. So
Really?
Yeah.
But I have been flying for years and years now.
Wow.
It's the fat. It pushes out the wrinkles.
And have tried to learn as much as I can if I were to actually go do it
I never would have predicted.
and try to get my license.
No, I'm not just saying this. I know, it's polite.
So I have tried to learn everything that you need to know
Underestimate.
to be VFR and IFR.
I would have guessed.
I could not even guess,
at most. I would
licensed.
say 40s at most.
There are some things that I don't know. Like I don't know how to really use the E6B handheld computer thing. And, certain things like that. With that, I don't know, since in the simulator you can't test your fuel for water and things like that.
Exactly.
There are things like that I can't
The chat could have a go too.
do. I could learn,
We're doing guess
but
age.
Yes,
for the most part,
Don't shoot me.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
I think I could go down there and
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I bet I could get over at the moment.
I'm gonna say 30.
I'm gonna lowball it here because I don't want to sound
quite offensive.
arrogant or anything. A 50%. I have a 50% chance at the moment to just right now
You asked.
get off this live stream, go down there,
For this, yes.
ask to take a private pilot's license, VFR and IFR tests,
Answer to everything.
and
Understand everything.
get a 50%
Wow, this is going the opposite way to normal.
at least.
See, in real life, everyone could have aimed mid-20s, but you are right.
Again, give me a couple hours. I would really want to refresh everything.
I just picked
I'd really want to go over on how to use the
a
E6B,
number as we discussed.
how to test your gas, anything else that you actually have to be there physically to
There
test,
was only one other woman there, and
to check.
and we became like fast friends. We like vibe checked each other at first
Other than that, I think I could.
because we were the only two. But I thought she was about my age, kind of late 30s
think.
at the time, and although at the time I was 36, but I thought she's about my age.
So that's how these live streams kind of started in general. Let me
And I was like,
shut down Twitch for a minute.
she thought I was 24, so it was like we both got each other completely wrong. It was quite
Well,
entertaining in the end.
I'm sure you'd rather hear them.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, everyone's made me feel horrible now because I thought, I was going to enjoy this. And I'm sure they'll err on the side of being
Look,
nice.
someone
They all
said
shot for
22.
the-
Look.
I don't believe that one though. They were just being nice. The rest
Someone
of them
said
going as high as
38.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
The rest of them went as high as possible. It's like, oh, that's gonna sting.
I think maybe some of our viewers might have been trolling you a little bit.
Yeah,
And I will point out, Angel, you did
Yeah.
ask for that. So.
I did. No, I invited it. I was willing to take whatever came.
That's my
Done
fault.
more than I
Sorry
thought it
for
was.
saying how old I was. Sorry.
Yes. It's
Sorry.
fine.
Okay,
No,
well, I
it's
think
fine.
I might have
Newtonius Pi.
So some of the
What a name. That's
you
great.
already know the answer, but we'll put it out there for chat. If you do already know honor system, if you do already know my age, because I mentioned it before, just refrain from answering. But for anyone who doesn't know my exact age, how old would you guess that I am? And our panel can guess as well.
That's sucking up, Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
45. He's in
met
his
me for a while,
40s.
so you've seen me
I have.
as a person, not just as a two-dimensional image on a webcam. So you
Yeah.
have a bit of an advantage here over others.
Okay,
you're
that's
good.
an interesting guess.
I'm just guessing. 45.
Like the other side of the world, really.
46.
I
They've been
don't know.
mean to you too, CD. Wow.
Sort of.
I don't know if they're being that mean. I mean, Fly10 is being a little bit mean, saying I'm 75. Like,
Yeah,
You know what? Sort of the same, mid-30s.
mid-30s.
I'd also guess like mid to late 30s for you.
You're both very kind.
No, I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
like my age. I can never
No.
guess people's age is terrible.
I mean, I can't. I'm awful.
Yeah.
I always thought someone when I was much younger, she was much older than me.
A few people have gotten
wasn't.
very close, but no one's got the correct exact number yet.
Someone said, based on your cinema experience, they're aging you to about 50. That's quite telling, yeah, because I know I screwed myself by talking about Flight Sim 98. So,
well, you know,
well, I tried.
I do like older movies. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm old myself.
I like 80s movies, but I'm not, that old.
So some of my favorite movies were made before I was even born.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of people have got the right answer now. 45 is my exact age.
You don't look a day over 37.
Well,
Nailed it.
You've also got the problem with your wrinkles, so you're good.
I will tell you the secret to eternal youth is to not have children of your own.
Oh,
All my friends who have
it's bull. It's bull. It's
gray hair. They're all
BS.
hair. They're all getting wrinkles. They're all aging much more rapidly than my friends who don't have children. And I think it's just because being a parent is so incredibly stressful. So I do not have kids.
Maybe there's some truth to that.
Why I look more youthful than I'm and Allison, I think that applies to you.
But I still nailed it.
No, my daughter's 35.
Oh, I didn't realize you had a daughter.
Yeah.
So you're just naturally blessed then to look so young.
Yes, yeah.
She flew the nest really early, so there we go.
Yeah.
It was
There
great.
you go.
Well, Ederin says, or a job in IT. Ederin, I worked 20 years in IT, and Allison still does work in IT.
I do, yeah. I'm a software development product manager, yeah.
In terms of stress, I could definitely say that for Mr. Avangel, a job in IT is absolutely a stress generator.
Oh, it is. It's awful.
He's a software architect, so he mostly wants to murder people he works with.
Oh no, not one.
Efficiency says, that's a great username, by the way, when I said it out loud. Efficiency, love it.
Yeah.
I went from 0 to 4 kids, and yes, I got grazed in my at 30. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. See, you couldn't tell today because I actually dyed my hair this morning because I started going grey at 30 because my mother started going grey at 30 and I got her genes for that. So thank you, Mother. I love you. Thank you. But no, I started getting grey hair at 30. It was like straight away. It was like, for fuck's sake.
Ronnie Cessna has a question. Do any of you guys actually fly? Yes.
Yes.
I have a private pilot's license and a glider pilot's license. Allison, you have a private pilot's license. Angel,
Yes.
do you have any real world flying experience?
Just PPL.
The PPL as well. So yes, all three of us, Ronnie, are all licensed pilots in the real world, not just in the
We're
sim world.
licensed idiots, mostly. Yes.
And I've never flown one of these before, so don't judge me. You're gonna judge me, but don't judge me.
Oh, I fully expect people to judge me, and I don't care what you think.
Oh, the first landing was awful.
My approach to things when it comes to the sim world is fly anywhere you want. Just don't fly like me. Trust me, it'll go badly wrong.
Oh, we've got quite a lot of people flying along in 2020.
You.
What a lot of people.
Yeah, and same in
Not as many as in
2024.
24, right? You've
No, I thought we could all see each other.
I would say, okay, let's do a poll of our chat. Don't type anything until you hear all the options. Type 1 if you're flying along with us today in Flight Sim 2020. Type 2 if you're flying along in Flight Sim 2024. And type 3 if you're not flying at all, you're just watching the broadcast.
Yeah, poor old Surly Dev went over to Lelystad with us all. His case travelled further than he did. He left it on the train, and then by the time he found out where it was, they said your case is on its way to Rotterdam, and then he had to go to Rotterdam to pick his case up and come back to the hotel. Poor Surly.
Bald Hamster, 1 for 2020, 2 for 2024.
And apparently he's just flown over Grovosaurus, isn't the man? He's just flown over New Amsterdam and said he's still got his case with him.
So I did notice when I was making the flight plan, here in the region we're flying over today, there is a location called New Amsterdam, which I thought was interesting because that was also the original name of New York.
It was indeed.
Yeah, a little bit of trivia for you if anyone didn't know. The city, New York City, one of the largest cities in the world, was originally a Dutch colony, and it was known as New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And then it was later renamed to New York.
The same thing, of course. In fact, Suriname used to be Dutch Guyana. The whole region was quite heavily visited, settled, colonized by the Dutch in about the kind of 1800s, or 1600s, sorry. So between 1640 and 1650, we had a lot of movement to the coast of Dutch East Indies, to South America itself. And in fact, the Dutch were a huge presence in Brazil and Chile in the early days as well. So major influence there. So a lot of kind of Dutch names you'll see around South America. Oh, I killed the conversation with history.
Oh no, I'm just processing all that. We love discussing history on this channel.
We do.
Yeah.
Love history.
See, everyone always blames the English for running around taking over everything, and the Dutch were just as bad.
Oh, we all did.
Most European powers were just as bad. England was just better at it. Better, very much in air quotes there.
And Ariel 4K says the Dutch traded
The shipping
for New York / New Amsterdam. Yeah, that's also true.
Got that beautiful looking A10 Warthog on my tail.
Very scary thing to see behind the.
It is, yeah.
Yes, very true.
You know, it's a ground attack aircraft. It doesn't specialize in air to air.
I will admit to an embarrassing thing here. I only actually learned that New York was originally called New Amsterdam thanks to the medical drama New Amsterdam. And I do like a good medical drama, and I was watching New Amsterdam and they referenced that, and I actually hadn't remembered it was called that. So, yeah, you learn something new every day. Demonic Dragon 00 switched from missiles to guns. It's the A10. It's all gun.
It's all gun.
I mean, yes, it can carry missiles, but why would you do that when you're behind a Cessna? You just need to fly too close to it to disintegrate.
Exactly.
Sorry, for Piper Cub, sorry, in this case. But, yeah, the gun is more than sufficient for that job. Very sufficient.
Here's a question for the chats. Anyone have any particularly fun plans for the weekend? Or are you all just staying home and playing Flight Simulator? Which also sounds pretty good, to be honest.
I might jump into Manor Lords this weekend. I don't know if I'll be live streaming it.
Chat. I myself
maybe
go see a jazz show tomorrow night.
I'd like to see that Marvel movie on Netflix, the
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter.
Staying at home and flight simming, says Bald Hampton.
Someone's seen Disturbed in 3 Days Grace in NYC. That's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Taking my daughter to see her grandmother. Oh, that's nice as well. Blue Gunner says jazz flute sounds amazing right about now.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone's flying with Allison's stream tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you doing tomorrow, Allison? Tell the chat.
We're flying on day 14 of Jennifer Murray's flight around the world in a Robinson R44 helicopter, and we're flying from Kuwait down to Dubai. Takes about 5 hours.
All right.
Wow.
Well, Allison, I have put a link to your Twitch channel.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to see Allison's flight tomorrow or any of her other streams, go ahead, click that link and give her a follow. And
The best part of my world tour, starting in Germany and moving around, was getting down to Istanbul and then starting the campaign of Alexander the Great.
But I do a lot of review content.
And following the route that Alexander the Great went all the way to India.
And greatest stuff coming to the sim. Could be a good place to check out. I would say it's the best place to check out, but it's one of them. Well, it's a place. Not that it's one of the best, it's just a place.
Yeah, so let me pause them for a minute. Yeah, so doing the world tour, and then Alexander the Great, crossing over the Hellespont, and then making the way down the coast, and all the way into Tyre and ancient Palestine, over to Egypt, and then he kind of went back up north, and he was all over the place. But then making the big push into the ancient Babylon area and Persepolis and going east, and then getting into India, and then kind of getting his butt handed to him over and over by the Indians. and then making his way back to Babylon, right, where he died. Yeah, it's been a while, so if I've got some of those places wrong, you know, my memory. Okay.
But yeah, I just tried to make sure you guys get the information that you need and want to see things. And like I said, this week coming up, there should be some really cool stuff coming up. We've got some, unfortunately, no spinny things on the front of engines, but lots of things where the blades are inside the engines coming this week.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
stay tuned. Yes.
All right. Well, for both Allison and Avangel, go ahead and click the links I posted in the chat just a little bit above. For Allison, give her a follow on her Twitch channel and check out some of her live broadcasts. And for Avangel, do all the things that all the YouTubers tell you to do. Subscribe to her channel, like a video, leave a comment, everything. It helps engagement, helps the algorithm.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah.
Just say hi. I will reply to you. I'm very lonely. I will say hello to you back if you say something.
Hello, Celestial Navigator. How are you doing? Lovely meeting you at Lelystad last weekend. Celestial Navigator wrote the Celestial Navigation add-on that Captain Arash and I used to fly around the world on Amelia Earhart's flight.
Now, very interesting on that note, if anyone's going to be at Flight Sim Expo in June in Providence, Rhode Island, Captain Arash is an approved speaker and will be delivering a presentation on using celestial navigation in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
He will.
So
good.
Highly recommend it. Anyone who's going to be there in person, check that out. And I think in previous years, and I imagine I'll do it again this year, the organizers of FS Expo also released a virtual pass that you can buy. So if you're
CDL3205 is the host of the community stream
online,
he's in the center there.
Encourage you to check that out as well. Of course, we in the Microsoft Flight Sim team, we will be at Flight Sim Expo again this year in Providence. It'll be our third year in a row attending. We were in Houston 2 years ago, Las Vegas last year, and Providence in this year coming up, just 3 months from now.
I won't be there this time, I'm afraid.
How was the Women in Aviation event the other week? It was fantastic. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It was organized 100% by the senior year graduating students, the women students from Mount Royal University in Calgary. They have an aviation program. So they're all pilot trainees. They're all going to be like future airline pilots, future professional commercial pilots. And they were the final year students. They organized a big event in their hangar. They had booths set up for Air Canada was there, WestJet, the Canadian Forces, many other local aviation companies. Super awesome event. And then we were lucky on the Flight Sim team, myself and Jane were there. We had a booth set up with 2 Xboxes with honeycomb controls, Alpha Bravo and Charlie rudder pedals. And we got, we gave about 10 to 15 minutes for anyone who came through to the booth. We gave them the opportunity to fly in the sim, taking off from Springbank Airport where the event was being hosted and flying around the Calgary area for 10 to 15 minutes. We probably had over 100 people, got some hands-on time with the sim. Lots more people came through and asked questions. It was fantastic to see so many young people, but particularly a lot of young girls, children and teenagers getting their first hands-on time flying a simulator, and hopefully the event maybe inspired them to pursue a future career in aviation. Phoenix says, my kids tried to crash into our house.
I mean, valid. Everyone does it at some point.
Yeah.
See, I chose the Meadowhall Shopping Centre near where I live because I wish something bad would happen to that place because it's horrible. It's known as Meadowhall for a reason.
Yeah.
I've never deliberately tried to crash into anything.
Being flattened.
On one of my way.
But I managed to crash into a lot of things.
Coming up the M1, that's always one of my visual reference points.
Ah, the viaduct, yes.
Yeah.
I miss the old cooling towers that used to be next.
Yes. Yeah. They've long gone now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Oh God, I was just at university when they were in 2010.
I'm a paranoid conspiracist theory person. Anymore, it's a conspiracy fact.
Yes, applies. But no, the Women in Aviation event.
And so
fantastic.
I can find a conspiracy theory in everything.
Women taking part and trying things out.
The one for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is
all these interests can be for anybody. And the new sim.
Let me pause this for a moment.
I'll always say to my viewers is the new sims, especially with the ease of access with Game Pass.
Okay. So the conspiracy theory for Microsoft Flight Simulator is on the crack when it relates to crashing. So a lot of the reason why Microsoft Flight Simulator as a product stopped being made is after 9/11, investigation found that, well, that's the cover, whatever, that's the story. The story is that some of the perpetrators had used Microsoft Flight Simulator to get enough flight experience to be able to pull off what they needed to pull off. No more, no less, just enough to do what they needed to do. And so when they went back and they looked at all their activity in the simulator, yeah, it was just learning how to fly, learning how to get up there, and learning how to crash into things. Really no concentration on landing. So all their effort was their target, pretty much, simulating, doing what they needed to do. And sadly, crashing into things, this is the reason why I think it was pulled the most too, is the King's, the husband and wife of the King Aircraft Company were virtual hosts in the simulator. And they talked to you as you learned how to use Microsoft Flight Simulator. And some of the challenges that they asked you to actively do was like flying towards the Twin Towers and pulling out before you hit them, and flying at the Hoover Dam and trying to pull up before you hit it. And so you can imagine how much of a slap in the face that was, and how angry people were at Microsoft for, you know, even having people do something like that. Prior to that, it just seemed like a ha-ha, and you'd never even bat an eyebrow at it. But after 9/11, you know, oh my God. Okay, so now the conspiracy. The reason why it's all online and has to be online is so that they can track things like that. So your pilot log, right, tracks everything that you do. Everything. And so they're keeping an eye on the back end of people that their only activity in the simulator is learning how to fly and simulating crashing into things repeatedly. What are they targeting? So nobody said bad guys were smart. And yeah, you can imagine that bad guys would take advantage of something like Microsoft Flight Simulator 1 for all the free information that they can get about the interior of different places, the layout, the landscape, whatever. I think that's another reason why a lot of the updates in photogrammetry aren't quickly released all the time. We're not getting the latest satellite data. You know, every 24 hours, we should be getting, you know, and maybe in the future we will. It'll start updating us faster. The AI will get in there and be able to clean things up much quicker, and we can get faster and faster updates to satellite data. But one, they got to go in there and they've got to remove things for national security reasons and obscure certain things and whatever. But yeah, the conspiracy theory. Nobody else has said this. This is just my own. This is just my own imagination running wild. But I have learned enough and immersed enough in a lot of conspiracy stuff, at least in the past, so that, yeah, when we first heard it was online only, that's immediately what popped into my head. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, hey, if you're a bad guy and you're only using the simulator to learn how to crash into things, they got your number. Don't think that they don't have your number. And somebody somewhere isn't paying attention for red flags in pilot log activity. Bad boys, what you gonna do? I would. If I was the United States government, Department of Ultimate Security, you better believe I would have some top people sitting there watching the servers at Microsoft. Better believe it. Money well spent. Okay, let's get back to CD, Allison, and App Angel. Tuning them back in right now.
I can't remember her name, Allison. I'm sure you'll know. There's a woman ferry pilot who has her claim to fame is she has more flight hours logged in Spitfires than anyone else ever.
Oh, crikey.
So someone in chat, if you don't know Allison, someone in chat, I'm sure will know her name. I think she.
I've seen a news story on it recently, and they let her fly again before she passed away.
I can't remember. Someone looked that up. Someone searched for that online.
I remember seeing that. Seeing her. One of her last flights.
Logged flight hours in Spitfires than any other person. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Truly.
I think so.
Amen, ma'am.
I think that was Lettuce Curtis. I think. I know she was one of the most kind of. She was typed on 90 types of aircraft. So probably one of the people it could be. But no, incredible. Anyway, we'll switch back to other topics as well. We tend, me and Alison here, so we're kind of. We're on the topic a bit hard with this one, so I shall apologize for kind of taking over this thing. But
oh no, I'll talk about history and ladies in aviation till the cows come home. So yeah.
Oh god, the chat has gone German now. What have we done?
Okay, no, apparently Mary Ellis is her name.
Mary Ellis, there we go. Yes, I actually remember. Yes, that makes sense.
She died in 2018. Yeah, I'm just reading her Wikipedia page. In October 1941, she joined the Air Transport Auxiliary and was posted to a pool of women flyers based in Hamble in Hampshire. Over the course of the war, she flew over 1,000 planes of 76 different types, including Harvards, Hurricanes, Spitfires, and Wellington bombers.
Wow. Amazing.
Truly.
Impressive, very impressive. Incredible. And yeah, that's the thing people often forget about, and I know topics and stuff, but
I just think about how unsafe they were. They didn't have simulators back there. They put you in a box with some painted instruments on the front of the cardboard.
For BOAC, whether it was the Pan Am aircraft,
The people that had to learn how to pioneer this stuff.
during wartime, unarmed, and most of these ferry flights, by the way, including by the Wasps and the
Tail draggers.
Yes. They were not running with ammunition in them, so good luck if something happened. But incredible side of the war, just like the 6888, the male battalion, of course, of all African American women during World War II, that basically unscrewed America's mail system at that time. So there's tons of amazing history to read into, which is fantastic to look into regarding that time period. But yes, now we have officially broken the chat. It's gone completely Deutsch.
Amy Johnson was also a ferry pilot, of course, and sadly disappeared on a flight where she was bringing an Oxford down from Humberside.
Yeah, she was also the first to fly from England to Australia.
She was indeed. I've done that flight in real time.
That's a Gypsy Moth, right?
A Gypsy Moth. That's just come out, in 2020.
Yes, it has indeed.
One of the great feats of transport aviation during the Second World War, of course, known as flying over the hump. This was flying over the Himalayas from British India to China to provide military equipment to the Chinese forces who were fighting against Imperial Japan at the time. And the actual operations were flown by male pilots. However, the commander of that operation had requested that women pilots who had been part of the American Transport Command, he requested specifically that they be allowed to fly this route because in their own statistics, they found that women were safer and had fewer rates of accidents.
Women have better reaction times.
Male counterparts.
Women have better reaction times.
Ruled by his superior officers, and women were not allowed to fly over the hump. even though the commander of that operation thought they would be safer doing it.
Okay, let me pause their audio again, or turn down their audio.
By the way, young man.
I'm going to talk about something that's completely unrelated, but related. It's weirdly unrelated in the fact that I'm going to bring up James Bond right now. And the James Bond franchise has just gotten moved over to Amazon, I believe. Okay, but prior to it moving over to Amazon, since the last James Bond film, everybody's been asking, well, what are you going to do now? What are we going to do? Are we going to, well, let's have a female James Bond, and let's have a black James Bond, and let's, you know, I don't really care about any of that. I don't. There's plenty of ways to introduce a lot of different Bond family members of any color, because Bond is ultimately universal exports, and the Bond family is universal exports. You can have as many Bonds as you want. There are no problems. There's only solutions. But one of the things that I've been bringing up is I would really like to see it, first of all, because they're like, well, you can't do that anymore, and you can't do that anymore. And, you know, I would like to have Bond be who he was and is. And so, therefore, I would rather that they go backwards in time and make period pieces for a while. Maybe just reboot the whole damn franchise again, but put it back in the time period that it belongs. So let's get it back to the, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. But one of the big things, and these guys all talking about this crazy stuff that took place in history and aviation and during the Cold War and the Chinese and the blah, 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 blah. I would really love that they ground it in history, that they put Bond not only in his proper time, but really use some of these amazing historic people and, you know, things that we don't really hear about, or these famous people like that lady they were just talking. She flew 76 blah 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 aircraft, and, you know, put real people in there, ground it in history. Not only that, since that period in the 40s, 50s, 60s, there's been a lot of declassifications. Okay, there are a lot of things that we now know that nobody knew back then, and, you know, national security was classified. So put Bond back in his right time, ground it with lots of real historic stuff, and not only that, get some real good stories. Some of the stories have been so cliche, the bad guys are so cliche, and they don't, you know, put the bad guys where they were now with some of the D-class stuff. And then now figure out how to interject the Bond family into all of that. So that's my 2 cents on James Bond today. I wish him luck. I really do. I loved James Bond growing up, and it's one of the first series of novels that I really ever read. I mean, I wasn't a big series person, reading a bunch of, you know, but all the Bond books, I was proud to have them in my collection. Still am. I still have all the Bond books somewhere around. So I'm very fond. And again, some of the things that were in stories, so much better than what was on the screen. And there's just so many ways to redo everything today. But that's what I would do if I was in control of James Bond right now. Back to CD Allison and Av Angel.
3 was always my vote. I was hoping that one would win.
Yeah.
Sadly, I got eliminated in like the second or third round.
Aw.
Robbed. The final two came down to, I believe, the 787 versus the A320.
Oh, flipping airliner nerds.
I know.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't my choice, but the community spoke. That's what they voted for. So, not what I personally would have voted for, but that's what the community picked.
when I was there in Arizona and we got to test out 2024, I saw all the sweaty airline nerds screaming into their bays with their setups of the sim and all the controls they had set up for everybody. We all had our little individual booths, by the way, for this event with our name on it. And everyone ran in there and they all jumped into 737 MAX and they were like, oh, 737 MAX, oh, it's got the right FMC functions in here and the HUD works in this way. It was like junkies running to get their fix, I swear. That was me messing around the break.
That's cool though. What a great community. The flight community is one of the greatest communities on this planet. They are true fanatics. Cheers. Let me raise my coffee. You guys are the best. All the way back to her talking about when the early games, there were no support for the early games, and the community ended up providing a lot of support, and the community created all the add-ons, and
we love everyone in our flight community.
Above and beyond anything any other community out there at the time was doing for any title.
Channel, the three of us today,
Flight simmers are
biased towards the GA side of sim.
We are, yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I do fly the airline.
The flight sim community.
But, there's a reason my streams are called Antics in, because they're not,
All right, we are coming up on our full stop landing. It's time flies.
I'm about 34 miles out.
So 11 miles.
I'm 9 miles out.
Oh,
Behind
crikey.
you.
I firewall anymore. I can't really do very more without blowing my engine up. Poor little thing. How are we doing? 12.4 and 12.9. Let's ruin the fuel change.
Do you see a bridge? Oh, I see where this is going. I think you do see a bridge.
Oh, you got to go under the bridge.
We have to fly under the bridge. As
a
viewers
rule.
know, I am not a coward.
That's serious.
If there is now, here's the thing. I talked about my grandfather during the war and how he made friends with all the Harvard and Tiger Moth trainer pilots. They would always ask him if he wanted to fly underneath a bridge with them, and he always refused. But he watched them do it. He was too much of a coward, my grandfather, to fly underneath a bridge. But I will do it. I will do it in the sim. I wouldn't do it in real life. I want to keep my pilot's license. Thank you. But,
Thank you, Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go play with the bridge, CD, and I'll catch up.
Okay.
Where's this bridge anyway?
Well, I think it's to my 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it should be.
There is a bridge right there. Oh, that looks like an easy mode one. This won't even be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere behind you, so I'm not far off. Oh, on the topic of the Vision Jet, though, I was absolutely lucky enough to fly in one of those and get my hands on the controls of one.
Wow.
The startups and checklist.
Not the bridge she's flying. She said she just has flown the Cirrus Vision Jet.
Before the others got to have a go. I think we had Captain Canada and DC in there as well with us. But it was an incredible plane. It's like flying an SUV. Like the side stick feels so strange. But I mean, that runway is at 7,000 feet, and we needed about 5.5 to get off the ground. The density altitude in the Grand Canyon was very, very high, so it was quite a surprising aircraft. But once it peels off the runway, it's a rocket ship. You just climb without any even restriction. Like the thing will just go straight up. It's insane. I'd never flown a jet before, and it was nuts. Like so comfortable and so easy, but it's like all of a sudden we were at 11,000 feet, and it was like, oh my god, where did that come from?
Yeah, quick. The Honda Jet is amazing too.
Disabled my autopilot. I've begun my descent. Getting ready to fly underneath this bridge.
Kasaki says, saw a bridge flown under in real life. Corsair. Pilot lost his license.
Like an actual World War II Corsair F4U?
Yeah.
Wow.
You clipped my personal experience with Hungry Vatsimmers. I love it. In terms of bridges, also don't forget the Hulk Hunter that flew through Tower Bridge in protest at the RAF's mistreatment of the anniversary of the RAF being mistreated.
Also, the end of World War I, or at the time was just known as the Great War, because they didn't think there would be a World War II.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the Great War, during the victory parade on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, unauthorized, a French pilot flew a biplane through the Arc de Triomphe during that victory parade.
Wow.
You've got to.
Yeah.
There's a little room for error there,
So those
as far as I know. I mean,
things were a first.
So I have successfully flown through the Arc de Triomphe in the sim.
Wow.
Avangel, I think you might have been with us at the time where I was very unsuccessful
in Berlin,
at flying
yes.
in Berlin. Yeah, flying through the
the
Brandenburg Gate.
Brandenburg.
The Brandenburg
I don't-
Gate now has some CD-shaped smears on the side of it. Yes.
So I do not think that's actually possible in the sim to fly through the Brandenburg Gate.
Although, fun fact of stupid landings, when I did my review of the Cap 4, the new plane that came free with the Brazil World Update, I landed inside Brazil's main soccer stadium. I actually managed to somehow land inside a stadium with that thing.
Oh wow!
It was scary. There were also cows because flight sim.
Cows in the stadium.
Oh, I clipped it.
In the stadium and on the roof of the stadium was a herd of cattle.
Oh.
Yes.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do, chat. I'm gonna fly through at this widest part of the bridge first, and this is gonna be easy mode. Then I will choose one of the more narrow spans for a better challenge. This is gonna be too easy.
Is this
Like
on the main
this.
channel?
Should have to do a slalom.
Oh.
I don't think my little NX Cub is maneuverable enough to do.
Yeah, no problem.
I hit.
That was too easy. Let's pick a narrower span. Success is
we should go fishing.
through the
What
Brandenburg.
about
Yes,
narrow
that's.
lower?
I plan to do that so we can go fishing.
Yeah.
All right.
Not that I'm trying to make you crash, right?
No.
I'm crashing now.
No! Come on, aeroplane. Someone said, "Oh, you could always do your speed up the sim mode. It would be good if I knew where it was."
All right. Which one? I'm gonna go for this narrower, lower one here. This is a harder
Yeah,
challenge.
keep flying under it.
Yeah, I'll be catching up in a bit.
Oh, I don't have it set to
Still
up.
pretty easy,
23.
though. Still too easy.
Well, yeah, can. Oh,
Oh, not for someone.
not for someone. So the next one looks to be more tricksy.
Yeah.
Nope, we're stuck. Maybe. Let's see. We slew out.
All right. I'll do one more, then I'll line up for the a full stop landing.
Oh, it's right next to us here, right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paramaribo.
I've got a better landing planned. Although someone says, why walk when you can fly? Actually, in 24, why fly when you can walk?
Uh-oh.
Tell you
Some
this, though.
amazing sceneries have been added that you can actually walk around, like there's the Amboy one in California.
Oh no.
It's amazing. This actual scenery has been made now.
All right. Hey, hang on. This one looks like it might actually be a challenge.
You got it?
We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Down. Oh, well done.
nice.
Well done.
Right.
Especially as you've got your big tundras on underneath. That was good.
Oh no. I hope this is solid.
Oh, you're going to try and land on it?
Yep.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, no, it's very solid. It's very solid. Wrong kind of solid. Oh god.
Oh, it's definitely solid.
It's the wrong kind of solid. It's not.
Yeah, it's
landed on
totally solid. Oh.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
right.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, come on.
I will make an attempt
At landing on it.
at landing on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna come around for another try.
Now,
I think if you aim for the middle bit, you might be all right, because there's a helicopter just like sort of.
Oh, he can cheat.
Yeah, I know. Helicopter in.
you know,
Come on, plane.
I learned this dumbest fact that I should have been aware of years ago, but I only just learned it for the first time, and I feel so stupid to taking this long in my life to learn this. Do you know the word helicopter? It's a compound word, but
Yeah.
copter is not the second half of the word. It's helico, which is Greek for spiral,
Yeah.
and pter, P-T-E-R, which is Greek for wing, like pterodactyl. Those are the two halves of the word helicopter. But we break it up in English. We break it up into helo, H-E-L-O, and copter.
Helicopter.
But that's not where the
Wow.
division line is.
You see, Flight Sim, you learn loads of stuff on Flight Sim. I did not know that.
No, I didn't know that either until just like a week
Oh,
ago.
look at the.
Oh dear.
Oh god.
Oh god. There's stuff happening. Oh no. Oh,
It's
Oh,
very solid.
All right.
Oh no.
F's in the chat for Abby.
Oh. It's a bit like my water trip earlier, but
Yeah, I'll take it.
where you tried.
All right.
I did my best.
I'm
Yes.
lining up for my approach. We'll see if I do any better. I'm not feeling great about this one. I think maybe approaching from the other side might be better than what I'm doing. But I'm committed
it's
now.
solid.
I'm committing now. Full send.
Good place for a quick snack and a sip of coffee. Cheers.
Huh?
Enjoy being in this military fort.
Yeah.
Just
Also, the
pretty darn cool.
very much there.
Oh, they are. Oh, shoot. I assumed those would be.
Uncontactable. No. They're very.
Feeling kind of special.
Okay. Ah, so they are.
Yep.
Okay.
World's fastest U-turn. And
All right.
Now, the next place was Royal Ballroom.
Slew mode to recover from
yeah. It's let's just
Oh,
not
shoot.
practical.
this. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
All right.
Actual approach back to the field now.
You know, usually those lampposts are not rendered solidly, so I assumed I would be fine.
Uh-huh.
No. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be possible given my wingspan.
We gave it a good old try. That's what
Yeah.
matters.
The Royal Ballroom?
No.
Yeah.
Says it's here, but I don't see it.
I was like, you know what? We stupid landed on top of it. It was stupid. Oh, that's a lot of dust. I'm kicking up. Oh, crap.
Oh, that is a lot. That's a cool new effect
Yeah.
in Flight Sim 2024.
They don't have fire yet. I need to write in on that one. When you're using your if you use the random failures tool to make things happen like engine fires,
The
there is no fire animation yet.
bridge.
Yes.
Oh no, you don't want me to fly
should be
under
the
it, do you?
Don't crash into cathedrals.
Really want me to fly under it? Jesus. Where is the bridge?
Well, they did, but now they do.
Oh, I was just
We have been here when they. I covered this. I flew by all these landmarks
under it or on it.
when they released the World Update the other day.
No, go under it.
So I'm remembering this place.
It's impossible to land on it because the lampposts are solid.
It's a bridge, but it could be a solid bridge in 2020, right? Oh, I don't know. You know, I don't do this. Not
Another good place to
invincible pipe.
have a sip of coffee and
Oh, come on.
a crumpet.
Yeah, I've still got flat.
I don't know what they eat here.
You got this, Allison. I have no faith in you. I mean, I have faith in you.
I noticed a motif, a theme.
Victory sideways. We hit wings.
Okay, what's
I touched
next?
the water. How's that?
Something over there.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you seen Mia Scully up ahead of me
I-
in the Jaguar? It's nice.
I saw a
very
video on Instagram last week. Someone in a carbon cub was touching the water and towing a water skier from a plane.
Yes. It is
Oh,
doable. I've seen it before. It is doable, but very, very sketchy.
Yeah.
It was probably Canadians. It's something they would do.
Yeah, that tracks. That checks out for us. All right, I'm on short final.
Don't forget the sound effects.
Oh yeah. Okay, got my fingers on the button.
so remember, this is the airport that Amelia and Fred landed at
Yeah.
on their way down to Natal.
Very dusty too.
Yes.
They should really be checking these out.
You know, that
Especially this one.
so smooth. I wasn't even sure my main wheels had hit the ground.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Just realize that look, it's Middle Eastern, right?
No.
No. I'm trying to. I don't know that writing.
Look at the city.
Asian?
Nothing around it. It's just
Not that.
town.
This is a very nice bespoke airport, though, added in World Update
Yeah.
19. A lot of nice details here.
There's a nice cathedral in Paramaribo off to our starboard side there as we come in.
All right.
Those
I'm out
carvings.
of my aircraft. I'm walking around on foot now. Let's. I'll find somewhere to meet up by one of the hangars.
Well, I won't be able to do that.
There's a big open hangar over here.
Let's see.
Late
Okay, yeah.
trees in front of my runway.
Yeah, let's meet up by that big open hangar that Avangel has identified there.
We can commit ocean violations of the forklift. Yes.
Speaking of forklift violations, has anyone seen, this is a little bit older now, but you may have seen it, that really famous German forklift training video?
Yes, the one where everyone dies.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. If you have not seen it, go on YouTube and search for German forklift training video. It's amazing. Do I need to enable something for the update? I don't see the bridge. You have to buy, and I use air quotes buy because it's free. There's no cost to you. But you have to go to the InSim marketplace and
You got your nose on my runway. Hello.
all right. Oh, Avangel, there. I see you by the forklift.
Yes,
Come over and
sir.
stand by you.
Ah.
Come on.
Now on my screen, you look like a man wearing glasses in an airline pilot's uniform, and I can't imagine that's what you would have chosen for your own avatar
that's
for a
not
variety of
right.
different reasons. That's what you look like on my screen.
Are you sure? Are you looking at the right
I-
person?
I am. Look, there's your nameplate.
Is it? Oh, that's weird.
Where's the brakes on these things?
Oh, it is. Yes, I
Jesus.
look like a random gentleman airline pilot.
Jesus.
Yep, that's me.
There's
That's
no-
that's quite weird.
God knows where the brakes are on these planes, Raoul. There's no brakes. Right. There we go. Spin it. Oh, no.
Me.
No.
My evil twin
Okay.
Derek. That's who it is.
All right. Well, okay. So this is how Avangel looks like on her own screen.
If I can angle the camera, yes, it's being weird right now.
Now, what do I look like on your
Pretty
screen?
good. Just come outside so I can move the camera around better. There we go. Yeah, this is what I look like actually. A sim. Come outside, I can see you. I don't see the nameplate.
I'll stand right in front of you.
Oh, you are also Derek. Is this you I'm standing next to?
You've walked around. Okay, I'm gonna stand. I'm by the tail of the A10.
By the tail of the A10. No one's by the tail of the A10 yet.
I'm standing right by the tail now.
Then I don't see you because all I see is an A10.
Okay, I see you. Okay, look at this. Here's my screen. So I see you right there. That's you.
Huh? Yes.
And so I'm standing. Obviously, you're by the A10. I'm also by the A10. There's the
Yeah, I
A10 standing there.
No, I don't see CD. I see
Derek, I don't see.
I see Angel.
Derek on any other screen than yours.
Okay.
So Derek's me. Sorry.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
no, I
here's,
see you.
here's on my own screen. That's what my avatar looks like.
Oh,
It actually looks
okay.
surprisingly like me, only it's a little bit shorter. I'm taller than that in real life.
Well, I don't see you, unfortunately. It's being weird. There we go.
Weird, yeah, I do. I see everyone else, but no one says they can see me. Interesting. But look,
Strange.
I'm seeing everyone else here.
You're a ghost.
Yeah, I'm haunting all of you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, chat, this brings us to the end of our World Update 19 Part 2 tour.
Oh, you're
Today we are in Guyana and Suriname. Now, this is not the end of our World Update 19 flights. By popular demand, we'll be doing another Brazil flight next month. We'll be going from Sao Paulo to Rio. But that is the end for today's flight. Next week, we are in Mexico. So stick around for Flying Friday next week. We have not been to Mexico, I don't think, ever on Community Flying Friday before. So excited for that one. And of course, we have Rise of a Pilot, the career mode live stream that I host every Tuesday. So tune in for that as well. Definitely want to thank our panel today, Allison, Avangel. Great having both of you with us. Any final thoughts before we sign off? Starting with Allison.
Check
There's CD.
before you take off. Lovely. Thanks for having me along again. It was great to be on with Avangel. So really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Have a great
Once
weekend.
again,
everyone.
I put a link to your Twitch channel in the chat. Avangel, any final words from you? And there's a link to
Well,
your YouTube.
as Alison said, it's fantastic to be on with Alison and get to actually fly with her for once. First time we've actually done this, and I'd love to do it again. And of course, the amazing CD
Oh, thank you.
thank you
Very
for that.
kind.
and your amazing hat. You don't have your entire personality at all. But,
We need emotes now.
guys, and if you look,
Since we can start doing this, we need emotes and like waving hello, and
I think we're gonna raid someone today.
we need emotes.
Jane is suggesting we raid Ukando.
Oh, nice.
oh,
he
Canda's
online?
fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Ukando.
Let me just confirm he is still online, and if so, we will raid him.
Murphy's also online too.
We raid Merv quite a few times, so kind of want to mix it up a little bit. 1 second. Yes, Kando is online, so let's give him a raid. All right, chat, we're going to sign off here. Stick around for that raid. Go up, blow up Kando's chat. I'm sure he will appreciate all of us dropping in on him. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that is it for the community flying for this week. Again, he said we'll be in Mexico next week. Hopefully they've added the pyramids back in. Yeah. Hopefully they've added the pyramids back in. That was after we started, that was kind of the first leg of World Tour. So we started in Colorado, made it all the way down through Mexico, all the way down to and through South America, and always looking for the places where they had pyramids, using the pyramid maps. And everywhere we went, nothing, nada, niet, zero, zilch. No pyramids. I heard they have one, at least one in now. And I think it's in the World Photography, Chichen Itza. So I got my fingers crossed. I always wanted to see an Ancient Aliens pack, and then since history, right? It's so funny. When I suggested a third-party tie-in between Microsoft Flight Simulator and the History Channel, and said I wanted an Ancient Aliens pack, CD, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who was hosting this community, killed my wish list post for that, saying it has nothing to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator. First of all, it's a wish list. It's my wish, and you shouldn't be able to remove it saying, with your opinion, saying you don't believe it's part of Microsoft Flight Simulator. But here we have avatars now. So we can walk around. I predicted that they would do this, and we would have high detailed areas of ground. Maps, high detailed maps. Okay. So that they could create these ancient alien sites, and that when you land near them or use Unicom to go to them in a vehicle, you could then walk around them and you could hear Ancient Aliens narration. You could go inside of things, like inside the pyramid. By the way, loaded up with a bunch of History Channel history and Ancient Alien stuff for these sites. And so CD said that has nothing to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator and deleted my post. The thing about it, though, is that was like a 13 times repeat. I go back to the alpha, so I get to be in Microsoft Flight Simulator alpha 1 year before the thing released. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you. It was the greatest experience ever. One I shall never forget. Saying it with a British accent makes it more legit, I think. So, with all the different restarts of the forum, sometimes you have to post ideas again, or they get lost or old, and so, I had been posting an idea for that. In other tie-ins, the Marvel tie-ins, I want all the Marvel aircraft. I know it's game, that's gamey stuff, but hey, it's an MMO, and the sky's the limit, and you might not be the demographic for that. You don't have to get it. And you see a lot of these things, once the corporations get all happy, sometimes we just get this crap for free. Everybody just happens to be in a good mood, and we end up being the beneficiaries of great stuff. Like the Maverick stuff. Although the movie didn't have any damn combat, really. And, well, we didn't get any. Heck, we didn't even get the mission from the movie, really. I thought at least we would get that. It wasn't, I think, the most well thought out whatever, we got it. So with Fantastic Four coming out and other movies back then, I was always saying, yeah, please eventually do a Marvel's tie-in, right? So you fly around, and if you're on Daily Bugle duty, you might actually see some superheroes destroying the whole Avengers, jacking things up, fighting some people. And that you could possibly, through your activities, earn your way to becoming an Avengers reporter or something. Like Happy. You get to chauffeur them around. But by the way, getting your hands on the Quinjet. And maybe the X-Men's Blackbird or some of the classic vehicles. And now what they have, the Fantastic Four coming out, the Fantastic Four flying car. If they end up doing the Inhumans or the Doctor Doom Latvian stuff, the flying bubbles, do you remember that? They each had they all had their own like bubble that they just sat in. They're like cushioned couches inside of a bubble, if I remember correctly. And then those were all connected by like tubes, and the whole structure just flew through the air. Jack Kirby, man. Jack Kirby. So a couple people standing around. We have a tough time letting go, don't we? Aquila 9, Run Wild, and Fire Savage. We all have detachment problems. We don't want to leave. We're the last ones at the party. Now we're all best friends. We're going to get all hammered together. I know there's a way to run. I just don't remember how to. Let's see if I could just stumble upon it. No, that's crouch. Yeah, so there's so many amazing things. Like that lady that was hosting was talking about, for people that are developers, to create tablet apps that you can use in conjunction, just all kinds of apps that you can create for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the sky's the limit. The other big one that I've always wanted, and I have not talked about it recently, but boy, man, I would repeat it over and over and over and over again on the forums and on air on my live streams, always talking about the Passenger app. I want the Microsoft Flight Simulator Passenger app. Okay, so in all these career stuff, what you get is AI NPC. And I don't want AI NPC. CD asked during the live stream to vote to see if people were tuning in from 2020, 2024, or just watching. Not flying at all, just being tuned in. Okay, there are people that come to our live streams. They're just tuning in. And people on social media, your friends and followers, they'll just tune in. Okay, so it's one thing for them to be tuned in and watching the live stream and watching you flying around, trying to entertain them. It's another thing to have them use a Microsoft Passenger app, Flight Simulator Passenger app, and it gives them any available seats. All right, so as a pilot, when I spawn into my plane, and as long as it doesn't spawn in an AI co-pilot, I now have 3 seats available on this flight. Now, my friends and followers with the Microsoft Flight Simulator app will get a notification that I have entered an aircraft. And on my end, I've also have my stuff switched on in my settings to broadcast my open seats. Okay. So now, if nobody else is the seat, maybe on your little app, you would see the plane I'm in and the seats available, and you could click on a seat, or it could just spawn you in. But not only do you appear in the seat, you've got all your camera controls, the same camera controls that I have. You have access to a drone camera. Okay. If we're on the ground, you have the ability to get in and out of the aircraft and be an avatar. And it's now a social space. So they've already got built into the simulator the texting and chatting and translation. So those same functions now. So now we can all chat with each other or talk to each other. And now you're a passenger instead of a viewer. You people that are really popular, you know, how many people could you get? Do you have enough followers that you could fill up a 320? Okay. So yeah. So the passenger app allows you to get rides on any of your favorite pilots' flights, depending on how many seats they have. All those controls, plus it's a giant social media environment. So now we need those emotes, right? Because now we can all hang out with each other in the aircraft, get up out of our seat, and say hello to each other, you know, do a wave, do a little dance, make a little love, and get down tonight. A way to have, you know, there's more fun, right? Like, based on how many flights you get frequent flyer points. I'm always joking about that in my live stream. For this live stream, you're going to get 10,000 frequent flyer points, and eventually you'll be able to redeem those for a thank you. A t-shirt. That's the goal, though. The swag. The t-shirt, the Hawaiian shirt, you know. In old Flight Simulator games, whenever you would go to certain places, you could get like a sticker for your luggage. You could get mementos and buy mementos or earn mementos from the places that you went. And I think that would be a great thing to add into Microsoft Flight Simulator. Right? We've landed here. We need to go into the shop now. And we need to get our Suriname, however you pronounce this place, sticker for our luggage. And for our hangar. I've always wanted us to have our own hangars where we can display things. All the t-shirts that you've collected, so the same with the passengers. They can earn clothing and earn badge, or, you know, whatever. All right. So again, a way to handshake people and wave to people, give gifts to other people. All kinds of things. Sky's the limit again. Oh, yeah. Well, I better wrap this up here then. What time is it? It is 2. And it's Friday. I think, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say that's it for a Friday. We did 2 live streams today. And, but that's good. So, might be doing Manor Lords, might not. I'm not certain yet. They've done a big update. I don't know what else. Baldur's Gate 3. I've finished it. I'm doing a replay at the moment. So, I don't know. Play it by ear. Either way, thanks for tuning into this. It has been fantastic. If you like any of the things I've said during this particular program, I encourage you to go over to the forums and make posts of your own on subjects like that. And anything that you're wishing they could add to it, because they can add anything. They can do anything now. So go make your wishes heard in the wish list category of the forums, and then we'll just cross our fingers. See you next time.